What if I told you I had the biggest secret in the world that can help you go faster and can help you get more accomplished? Do I have your attention? We're going to talk about that today on the podcast. Stay tuned. You are enjoying the Step Out and Thrive podcast. Welcome to the Step Out and Thrive podcast. My name is Bethany B. Joy, and you're in the right place because this community is a place where you can just come as you are, take off the hat or role that you do, and know that we love you just the way that you are. It's a community of God-driven entrepreneurs and God-driven leaders and God-driven ministry leaders that want to pour out in amazing ways, but often we don't always get poured back into. I want to change that. I want you to be able to create communities of practice right around you where you get poured into and you can pour into others in a healthy way that can help you step out and thrive in the way that God's called you to. We're right in the middle of our Rooted series, and today, false advertisement. Well, it's not really false advertisement, but today's probably one of the harder lessons that I've really struggled to learn. And it is all about the counterintuitive aspect of where power really comes from. It's not about doing more. It's actually about providing time of Sabbath in your week and in your world. And what does that look like? I can't wait to dive into this because it's so neat having these conversations with people, because Sabbath doesn't always look the same to everybody. Isn't that nice? A little bit about my journey. And there's so many stories, unfortunately, that I could share where I feel like I've had to push really hard and made some choices that probably weren't the best, that really led me into a forced Sabbath rather than me learning how to do that on my own. And many times that's the circumstances for many of us. But the one that sticks out, which is kind of humorous but kind of not either, is years ago, and I've had a pacemaker for, I was trying to think of that the other day because I just got my new one. I've had a pacemaker before my youngest was born, and he's now 13. So probably 14, 15 years I've lived with a pacemaker. And it's had its challenges. It doesn't always do what I want it to do when I want it to do it. Sometimes it requires recalibration is the best way I know how to explain it, is when they used to, back in the day, they used to put this magnet over top of it. It could read and program, and they could change the settings. And then they would send you out of the office, and you're like, okay, I'm fine, and realize, oh shoot, no, I'm not. And pacemaker controls a lot. It controls the beating of your heart. It controls blood flow. It controls how much oxygen is actually getting to your brain or not. And so funny things have happened, and a lot of times I can't always tell what's going on. Many times other people can. And so a couple years ago, I had this situation where, and I was on my single mom journey, and I remember I was working at the church. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I remember I was working at the church, and I remember feeling kind of weird before I went in that day, but you know, the kids had to get to school, and there were other things going on, and it was just like I had to do my work, and I had to get a paycheck, and there were people that I had to see and places I had to go to, and just there was no time to stop. I had to do the next thing or the world was going to crash around me. I remember showing up to the church that day and getting through a couple meetings and remembering like, man, I feel really, really tired. So I remember trying to eat something, and I couldn't even eat. It was so weird. I remember taking a walk with a good friend who was on staff, and he's in the mental health field. So he's asking me some curious questions. And honestly, I don't remember 95% of that. But all I remember is that he convinced me during that walk that he's like, yeah, you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, nah, no. And I remember fighting him, not knowing exactly what was all going on. But basically, he told me later, he's like, you weren't making any sense. He's like, I knew something was off, and something was off about you all day. And I remember feeling just this fear and not knowing what. And it's almost like my brain couldn't quite go all the way online. But again, I couldn't stop. I'm like, no, I don't have time to deal with that right now. I need to pick up the boys from school, and I need to go home and take care of the dog, and I need to make sure that, these meetings happen. Well, long story short, I got to take a trip to the hospital. And normally in these situations, they would check the pacemaker and they go, okay, we need to make these changes. I don't remember everything that went on with that. My case isn't always cut and dry, if you know me, because I have a lot of different physical challenges. So anytime I go into the hospital, the doctor's like, yay! I was like, no, not yay. I'm always one of those fun people to be around. And anyway, I remember getting there and they had to run some tests. And basically what they found was that they weren't sure if it was something to do with the heart itself or something to do with the pacemaker. And because I literally just had the pacemaker settings changed, they ruled that out. Well, after a couple days, especially when they saw me sitting there fine as could be and all of a sudden my heart rate would take off, they realized, it probably is the pacemaker settings after all. So what could have probably been solved that first day ended up taking several nights, actually, before they actually came in, got the pacemaker settings changed, and then kept me another 24 hours for evaluation, which was good. Nothing they did was bad. They probably did follow the exact protocol. They want to make sure something isn't completely wrong with my heart. I remember going home, and I remember, no joke, this is me, again, before I learned the art of Sabbath. I remember getting back to the house and my kids, this is going to seem so old now because I haven't seen a whole lot of these open anymore. But back in the day, they had these Redbox things. Some of you guys have been to them, right? Where you would go up and you would rent a DVD. Well, right before all this had happened, the night that I was actually in the hospital was supposed to be a movie night. And we were supposed to watch something. I don't even remember what it was. Well, here's my mind. I knew that was sitting in my car, and I knew that I had to take it back to a Redbox. And the doctor told me, because I was under some pretty amazing medication at the moment, because my heart had cycled and gone through this thing, a lot of time, my body was exhausted. So he's like, you just need to sleep. And I was like, okay. So I remember my friend brought me home, and I remember I texted a couple of people because they were like checking on me. I was like, I'm fine. I'm just going to walk the DVD to the Redbox. Okay. The closest Redbox is like 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles probably away. My kids weren't with me at the time. I don't remember where they were. But to me, I was like, hey, I'll just walk. I know I can't drive, but I'll just walk. I had a great friend that texted me. She's like, do not leave the house. I will come and help you out with that. I realized later that she came even the next day and spent the day with my kids, helping them clean the house. And I remember she told me, she's like, I just want you to sit on the couch. And if you fall asleep, you fall asleep. But it's okay. I'm with the kids. It's fine. Y'all, I fell asleep for hours. They cleaned the house. They did tons of stuff all around me, and I was out. All of this to say, that was a wake-up call for me. That, I was so disconnected from my body that I had no clue how much rest I really needed. My second reality is that I wasn't really showing up the best way that I could. A lot of things were happening around me because I wasn't able to show up the way that I needed to. Because I wasn't able to take care of myself. And I really wasn't connecting with God because I was so busy taking care of everyone else. I wish I could say, and that solved it, and from that day on, that I took a Sabbath. No. But I do remember, and Pete Scazzero, if you've never heard of him, has so many great books about this. Emotionally healthy spirituality, emotionally healthy discipleship, emotionally healthy relationships, great things. And he tells us about this one example of Sabbath where he just didn't do his normal routine. Instead, he spent quiet time with God. But then he was at somewhere, I don't remember where it was, washing his hands. And while he was washing his hands, he was just so close and talking to God that he just got this amazing moment with God. And it was so simple. But again, he was paying attention. It's more about turning our attention to what God is doing, taking our attention off ourselves and everybody else, and just spending that time with God. Yes, you can do that with other people. Yes, Sabbath sometimes looks like taking a nap. Sometimes Sabbath looks like going on a bike ride with yourself. Sometimes Sabbath looks like, in my example here, this specific day, as I was practicing Sabbath, we went to McDonald's. It must have been a long time ago because I can't remember the last time we went to McDonald's. It's just not there. But I remember, no joke, I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and all of a sudden, I just had this experience like, wow, you got to experience an amazing meal with your kids, and I think maybe my parents were with us. I can't remember. Isn't that awesome what God is doing? Thank you, God. There was other stuff going on around me, but I was focused on that moment, and it was so neat that he talked about a similar experience in his book. All of this to say, I hope you're walking away with this, is that Sabbath is not necessarily about physical rest. It is, because we need to be emotionally and relationally connected to what our body's doing. And in order to do that, we have to have physical rest. So it kind of does go hand in hand. But it's more about turning our attention to what God is doing and just spending time letting him enjoy us, letting us enjoy him. And that looks in so many different ways. So it's not just us off in a room somewhere, just being in silence. That may be part of it. But it can also, for me, I have some amazing Sabbath experiences just being with my boys. Because I go into it with the mindset and a relationship where I'm seeing God in the middle of it. So my question for you, what does Sabbath look like for you? That's a loaded question sometimes. And I'm curious if you want to try something different this week with that. I'd love to have you in our community. Especially the free tier gets to talk more about these podcasts and kind of these experiences that people get to have. And Sabbath is one of those weird areas that some people have never tried, and other people think they've tried but maybe haven't. And some people are into this in so many different ways. All this to say, you're safe, you're seen, you're heard. Bring your experiences to the free tier of the community and join us in the comment section. We'd love to have you. You can join at community.stepoutandthrive.com, or just go to stepoutandthrive.com and click on the join the community, and you can join right from there and join us there. As always, dare to do more than just survive. Step out and thrive. Do your Sabbath. See you guys later. Bye. Thanks for enjoying today's Step Out and Thrive podcast, the one place that you can always count to dare to do more than just survive, to step out and thrive. As always, for more information, please check out BethanyBJoy.com or stepoutandthrive.com.